Absolutely. My son does it. 5 liters. I got, every time I go down the Coke aisle now, I'm like, do what? Yeah, I went in for day surgery, and I got out 15 days later. Wow. ICU for 13 days. Wow. But see, I'm good. Okay. He's the one that was a scaredy cat.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my husband, by the way. The man over there.
I was trying to look up and find that bottle.
I was babysitting while you were.
Oh, what's going on? That happened while I was gone.
Thank you so much.
Mad, dude.
I know it.
That was a good lunch.
All right, guys, are we ready to get started?
So our first item on the agenda, first of all, this is our first official Community Engagement Committee meeting. Finally, an official committee. Yes, and you were all voted in as members. So the first thing on our agenda is, Ryan, where did he go? Where'd Ron go?
I'm right
Behind you.
I'm first on the agenda.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, really?
What am I talking about?
This idea, man.
Okay. Yeah. Well, throw it out there, and I don't even know, this is a newly forming idea, but Chris and I were having lunch. I'm pastor at Cross Point Church, by the way, on 4th and Reynolds, right up here. Somehow we've acquired about 3/4 of the block across the street from us. We've had a rental house on there, and we rent the ball and shell, and there's a daycare there now where the old, what is that, hardware store, grocery store, barber shop, it's been a billion things, bought that thing, and it's a daycare now, but we own that. And so we've been repurposing that area for a community park, you know, so built a playground, we got plans for an amphitheater, just trying to get grass to grow right now because we knocked down a house, and so it's step by step and it's slow. But we have done for the last few years what is called National Good Neighbor Day. Anybody know there was a National Good Neighbor Day? Yeah, there is a National Good Neighbor Day, and it's September the 28th every year. So I think the first year we had this, I know you were there. We had some food trucks out. We got food truck hookups and stuff like that out there, and you know, school system came out, and the city came out, and the neighbors came out, and it was a good time. We just kind of did it over lunch. It wasn't a big deal. We did something last year, and I don't even remember what it was. But this year it falls on a Saturday, and so I mentioned that to Chris, Mayor Chris Treat, pardon me, Mayor Treat, and you know, he kind of had been in conversation about a Bryant Serve Day. I don't remember exactly who you said you were.
There's some developers and others have talked about maybe, you know, citywide serving, cleaning up some yards, doing maybe in different wards, partnering with churches and other folks to just serve, which fits with good neighborhood.
Yeah, totally. So we were kind of tracking down the idea of possibly marrying those two ideas. A serve day coupled with Good Neighbor Day, and what could that possibly look like, right? So I was a pastor in Oklahoma in a little town called Mustang, which was a really cool name, and it had Mustang festivals, cars, and all that. But we did a deal kind of like this that we called Mission Mustang, all right? And so for you, I don't know, we'll be a church now for 10 years, I guess, this fall. And we've been at that location for nearly 8. And so I've kind of been thinking, what's a parallel to Mission Mustang? And I came up with this name called Bless Bryant. And I threw it out there to Chris. Is this what you want me to say?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
That's great.
Bless Bryant, so what are all the ways that we can bless Bryant, And so I think part of that would be involving, I don't know, this could go 1,000 different directions. I'm just throwing stuff up on the table and y'all tell me, what we can and can't do. But could we do something like a Bryant Serve Day on that Saturday, and then culminate a celebration, a cookout of, something in the afternoon or evening. Now, I can just tell you, you're gonna get about 3 hours at the most out of volunteers, right? And before they poop out, right? So, I'm thinking maybe a 9 to noon and then have something fun at noon, or maybe do it in the afternoon. You do 1 to 4 and then something fun at 4. We could have entertainer come out, get some food trucks or something out there to just kind of celebrate being neighbors. So I have a bunch of unformed thoughts. But,
I love it.
do we, just throw that out there as a open discussion item? Enough room for, yeah, I mean, if there's, a couple thousand people, no, we don't have that much room.
Fall Fest too.
What day is Fall Fest planned?
I don't think they've said it yet, have they?
It's usually about that date, though.
It is
Yeah,
in
last year was on the Razorback A&M game, which is the same, the 28th is Razorback A&M, which,
They were talking about pushing it back a little bit.
they may push in October, but I know last year it fell on that A&M game.
That's not.
Do that celebration at Bishop, I mean, it's got a lot more space out there.
I asked Ryan to come just because I knew as you guys were kind of forming your thoughts about what you kind of wanted the committee to be about, and what you wanted to do. That was one of the things that I'd heard you were interested in, is partnering with the community in different ways to serve.
What kind of activities are you thinking that we would have?
Fall Fest is on October 12th this year.
I would say the first thing we need to do is identify what the needs are. What are the most pressing issues around Bryant? Is there a graveyard that needs to be cleaned up, or is there we would do select single mothers and, go and do a free apartment cleaning, house cleaning, whatever, something like that. I think we probably have to put a collective effort together to figure out what the needs are. Like, we're not the type of church that would come to you and say, here's our prescribed thing that we want to do for you. It'd be more along the lines of, what's the need? What needs to happen? What's the most pressing, urgent matter that needs to be addressed? And how can we meet that need?
Yeah, I was picturing something, I thought you were gonna do something at the park area, and, we would set up things for people to do,
Mm-hmm.
and the food trucks,
Yeah.
and all that. But then you were saying, like, there's a project out, away from the park that we might need to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I think if it's a serve day kind of thing, obviously, we need to go where the need is, and whatever that looks like. Which would be off-site, and, you would just direct
thinking we come back to the park for kind of the end of the
Yeah.
celebration thing. We're all out doing, whatever. We could probably start simple and have something in each ward, based on whatever you guys would choose. And ask people to kind of jump in there and help.
Is that how this committee is
Yeah, they're divided
arranged by ward?
by ward. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That would be very easy to orchestrate, and maybe we could get some other churches that are located in those wards to
Any
jump in. Mm-hmm.
What if you would do like like you ask people to, if you know, like an older person that can't mow their yard, or, mom in need,
Yeah.
and maybe you can choose, and then the day, you could be like the hub, and like, you go here, you go there, and then come back and celebrate.
Some sort of bless Bryant form, like a nomination, kind of a description of why
Yeah.
this person, yeah.
And that way you'll have like, okay, we need people to mow the yards, we need people to go drop off food.
Yeah.
So, a similar event to this, that occurs every year is the big event in Conway, UCA. They put on this serve event called the Big Event. And basically what they do is they have, different people fill out like almost not like an application, but like a request saying, hey, this is what, one way that you can help out, you can serve. And then you have a bunch of people fill those out, different nonprofits and other organizations. That's where you can nominate someone to, like, hey, this is, this so-and-so lives down the street, and, she needs help mowing her yard, getting these leaves out of her yard. And then from there, I guess they have a committee that kind of picks ones that's feasible to do within those 3 hours or that time frame. And then they sort everybody out and say, all right, you're going to this project, you go to this project, and everybody kind of rounds up at the end too.
Does UCA organize that and run it, or organization?
It's student-led,
Yeah.
so I think they have, it's student-led, providing volunteer services, and it involves the students, faculty, at UCA both.
Yeah, my kids go to Washita, and they have something like that. It's an entire serve day.
Yeah.
We could probably, if this was something the committee was interested in, we could probably reach out to UCA, maybe Student Services, and see how they organize it, how they get it started and everything.
Use that as a template,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, like a template. So I think the biggest thing would be understanding, okay, what needs are we looking at? How do we identify those needs?
Right.
Where do we go from that point once we identify those needs? Because once we identify the needs, then we can backwards plan from, okay, what's the drop dead date we want to do this? Then start backwards planning from that point. And then we can kind of get an idea, okay, we can use that as a template if we want, however y'all see fit, or we see fit, or whatever the case is, and go from there and backwards plan. And once we identify what the needs are, then we can figure out how we want to implement, who goes where and how or what or who can. Yeah, I think that'd be a big piece of it as well.
We need a volunteer forum also to know how much the labor force we're gonna have, how much volunteer force we're gonna have,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't wanna give 20 projects and only 20 volunteers.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've got a guy in our church that, is kind of the missions guru for the Arkansas Baptist Convention, and they do these kinds of things in communities all the time, where it's, they'll go in and, work with the city to figure out what needs to be done, and we've painted playgrounds and done flower beds at nursing homes, and some of it's personal stuff like that, I don't know what the rule is here in Mustang, like, the city was not able to go onto somebody's property,
Right,
to cut down a tree or whatever, but we could. And so people would call the city saying, I need help with this. And so they would call us and say, hey, can you mobilize somebody to go cut this grass or cut down that tree or whatever?
It wouldn't be hard to identify some of the yards that code enforcement has been watching. Yes, you're right.
Well, I mean,
But volunteers can, right? I mean, we could definitely point you in the direction, I think,
And these would be
probably
people-
even help you with some, I don't know, depending on the project.
Yeah,
Maybe buy some, maybe buy some lumber or get something simple.
yeah.
Are there organizations that we know of local that need community service hours that could like help do like some of the, not only just the labor, but also some of the, you know, maybe the backbone work of getting, you know, forms or anything like, is there an Eagle Scout that, or a scout that wants to be an Eagle Scout that might want to take something on like this? Or the Air Force ROTC at the Bryant High, their service organization? Is there some others like that,
Yeah.
that
we can tap into?
We get calls from NHS or.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
People like that.
Well, I think with the LEARNS Act, they have to have so many hours of
Yep.
community
They
service.
graduate.
That would help.
By the time they graduate.
Yeah, I do like that.
And, you know,
I've got
there are
a union
kids that get
now, but-
sentenced with service, and we've helped some of those folks out before.
Right.
Is, what is it today, June 20th? Or May 20th?
May 20th.
May 20th is that, September 28th, is that a reachable date at this point? For something like this?
I'll say it was, if there's not a Razorback game on.
You have to take that into account. Yeah, we plan, I mean, I'm a Mizzou kid, so, I don't, you know, I watch that schedule, but we realize that when we plan stuff, and we've done this before, we set up a tent with a TV out there and every game on. So, you either schedule around it or make sure it's there.
So what's-
Yeah, sometimes you won't know, right? TV's, ruling that day.
Sure they get early draw state of the Razorback football team, but, I think with A&M, they usually get an evening game, because it's a Dairy World, and
Yeah.
I think it stays safe.
Well, that's one thing to think about, like, nobody's gonna be driving to Fayetteville for that game. I mean, they might be going to Dallas.
I was just wondering if on the people applying, or how, are we gonna depend on other churches to identify people that need help? Or are people going to apply themselves for help? I mean, how are we gonna go about getting who we're
Yeah, I
gonna
think
help?
there's 1,000 ways to do that. You had suggested a nomination way, if people saw that somehow, you know.
And then they go on the city website?
We've done, we could put anything on the website.
Facebook.
But I mean, I think you could open that up to a number of different points of contact there. So maybe that comes from a church, or maybe, you know, a church member sees somebody or knows somebody, or,
Then, of course, we have to think about a deadline,
yeah,
so that we can, people won't be coming in after,
yeah,
but we need help.
yeah. Well, that happens. I mean, be flexible or you'll get bent out of shape. That's the rule.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that we could really get to everybody that by September the 28th. I mean,
I don't know that I would put that kind of pressure on us. I mean, to feel like we have to accommodate everything.
I think, my best friend is the Dean of Student Services at UCA, so I'll call him, I'll see, who's over the big event. He may be, or he may know somebody and put me in touch with them, we'll see how they organize it, they might have some templates, you know, of putting out flyers or whatever they'll let us use. I can bring that back at the next meeting or email it out to the group.
Well, here's another thought, though, along those lines, that if we do somehow get some sort of backlog, I mean, if this is organized by, you know, ward, thank you, I was gonna say district, but if it's organized by ward, okay, this person lives in this ward, or this project is in this ward, then the churches or community, whoever's in that ward, you know.
That's a good way to get it out. Good way to get it out, because they have announcements and things like that, and they'll be, you know, we talk to them, they'll be more than happy to probably put it in their announcements, and most of the parishioners gonna go there, they're already there, they looking and they seeing, so they'll be able to see the information come out. That's one way of getting it out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, one of the side benefits of this, based on ward, would be us able to communicate the different representatives. Every ward has 2 Parks Committee members, 2 members of council, 2 members of this committee, 2 members of the Water Advisory Committee. But a lot of times people don't know their representatives.
Yeah.
So that would be something, if we could figure out a way to, as we push this out, let them know who their representatives are, who to reach out to if you're trying to get information about a project. This committee, or if this committee wants to take that on. And then hopefully those representatives in those wards are out serving that day.
Yeah, so
And they get to meet their,
we would get T-shirts that said Mission Mustang on there. I mean, and you get those to volunteers, and it creates awareness. And then if, you know, there's
that'd be great.
you know, a board member somewhere along there, designate them somehow, get a hat or
Yeah.
medal, badge, something.
If our people wanna know, wanna be known.
Yeah.
Sometimes they may wanna hide if they're mad about their water bill.
That's funny.
I think we'll always run into that sort of thing, you know, when we had the Christmas thing, remember?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was wonderful. I would love to have an event like that every year. But we were getting people to fill out surveys of what they thought about how the city was, what they needed, all that. But, and we were prepared, we knew. They're gonna come at us.
Yeah.
What about my water bill? And many other things, but all in all, it was good.
Good.
It was a great event, I think.
So we would break this up into wards, is that what you're saying? Like, ward, you mean ward, but what is it?
Ward 1.
Ward 1, is that Ward 1 team? Is that what we're talking about here? I mean, we're all one team, but are we gonna divide it up like that? Or we use the resources of that ward, you know, and engage that ward? Is that what we're talking
I
about?
think that could be helpful, the way that organizes churches in that ward.
Right, yeah, you use those resources.
Right, exactly.
I'm just thinking city council members need to be involved.
I think they would
In that
jump,
ward.
they'd jump at this chance. There's an election in November.
I appreciate that.
Okay, come, man. Almost raised my finger.
I think it's just a question if the committee wants to adopt this as a service project, a way to engage. If you can organize it however you see fit. The rest of us would be just willing to jump in and be part of serving.
I got some equipment.
You volunteer?
I would have to.
Yeah. It's like when they had the tornado in Little Rock, he was down there and he got his chainsaw. So, yeah, he loves to jump in there.
Since our committee is like, pretty small at the moment, and we're just now getting started, I think, it would be good, like, be back up and help and not be more like,
Out front,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
and,
more of a supportive role in it.
yeah. So, if you need help, have, and maybe you can come back later on and tell us, okay, this is where we need help, here and here and this and that. And then we can help in that instead of, us leading it.
I agree.
I can see that. I see both sides of it. I mean, once we can get a consensus, get everybody here, I think it'd be, just put it out there to see how everybody feels about it, and then go from that point. And, I think we can do it, but, but that's just me. But I also see where you're coming from, just to make sure we get everybody on board and we can see, move from that standpoint. Good idea. I like it. I like it a lot.
Now, here's a thought, thoughts coming into my mind, in your mind too, but, would this be a good year to just do a trial run? Like, what ward is Cross Point in? I mean, Butch was our dude.
Two, I think. Two.
So, what if 2024, we just did 2 in Ward 2? And kind of test run it, see how it goes, and then multiply it out from there? Is that a possibility?
Ain't hurt to do a test run.
Is that better than trying to tackle this beast? Like,
See why it's,
it could be big, yeah.
I think it could start small and then let it grow. I like it. I mean, that's kind of where I was leaning to, but I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Well, and City Hall is in Ward 2 as well, isn't it? So that would work.
Well, okay, Larry Charles, y'all know Larry Charles? Is pastor of Breath of Life, which is down the street here. So we do some things with them in tandem, and so that would not be a hard phone call. Like to, work with them on Ward 2. I need to know where the lines are.
It's Ward 3, actually.
283-1.
Yeah,
The railroad track.
yeah, everything that's Heart of Bryant, is Ward 3. And that goes all the way over to Leah Circle, just before Bishop Park. And then also includes a strip of, off of Reynolds.
So our church building is on the northwest corner of 4th and Reynolds. So
Technically, y'all are in Ward 4.
okay. But what the park is in,
It's in Ward 3.
yeah.
So. Just across the street.
Or you can limit it to 1 per
We're
ward.
in Ward 3 right now. We all, right? So we're okay.
to me, I don't know how to say this, but Ward 4, I don't know that you would have as many people that need.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, gotta be
3
real
would be
about
better.
like where is the great, the needs are definitely gonna vary from ward to ward, I would think.
Yeah, big population of Ward 4 is the apartments, so, we're not gonna do anything over there. So Ward 3 might be a better option.
Yeah.
There's more of a need in 3, from what I see.
Was this something you guys wanna chew on and talk about, or do you wanna go this test route thing, or?
Do y'all want to revisit this?
I say let's revisit.
Next
Let's revisit it.
Okay.
And, because we want to have a consensus of everybody here, get everybody here and revisit it. Kind of give us a little time to chew on it and kind of look at it, and then revisit it the next meeting and make a decision on the next meeting on how, if, what we want to do. I think that'll be the smart thing to do right now, and go from there.
So, and is this something like we're gonna be the ones organizing it, or is that what you're saying, or?
I think it would be in conjunction with churches and the city.
I would say that we would lean toward it if we're participating. But as far as us trying to be leading it, I don't think we're ready for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I think if you find a point person, that can, do the legwork, and then, groups like this, and the alderman, and the whoever else can get behind it and push, that's the big thing.
But trust me, we are definitely looking for ways to engage the community.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we were founded for, and we've been really trying to get some steam going to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing you could do is as you're chewing on, as you're driving around, find some spots. Maybe, you know, you go, that's what they need some help.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, a lot of that's just having your antenna up and watching.
Anything else on this? So we revisit it next month. Multi-use trails.
So, item number 2, I'm gonna put it on the agenda, mostly as just a heads up, to kind of make y'all aware of what's going on. So we've been in talks with developers about revisiting our master pedestrian plan, and which includes our trails, sidewalks, and bike lanes, all that. But mostly looking at it, in terms of the funding mechanisms, for how those trails are built out. Currently, according to our plan, if you're developing a piece of property and you had a trail running along it, that when you develop the property, you have to build that trail as well. Or you have to come in and ask for a waiver from the planning commission and take it to council. So we're looking at other options, as far as how those are built out, try to alleviate some pressure off of developers, make some properties more, I guess, I don't think of the word, more pleasing, I guess, to develop, more manageable for people to actually come in there and build something out. But that's what we're gonna be kind of working towards, and we actually have a planning commission workshop, scheduled for June the 3rd. And we're gonna be inviting the developers out, to kind of talk and have discussions with our planning commission, kind of give ideas, on that, see what we kind of come up with. And it's more of kind of a listening, discussion session. We're not trying to set anything in stone at that point. You know, we're just trying to get some ideas on where we can head, as a city, and kind of work through those comments that we received at that point in time. But along those lines, you know, if we're working towards that and going to change it, we're gonna have a lot of public hearings on that, with just inviting citizens out. We'll probably even do a couple of surveys. So that's where we're gonna kind of depend on you guys to help us push out that and get some involvement from different people in the wards on, what all's going on and what their thoughts are on it.
Now, who all is invited to this planning commission?
I mean, everybody's invited, to come. I think our discussions right now, I think we're gonna have between, council and developers, and city council members.
What's the date?
It's June 3rd. It's gonna be here at 6 p.m.
And you say, from us, you looking for what was the role you want for us to try to?
I was just putting on y'all's radar, let y'all know, that's happening, that's coming up. And then also, once we start getting real deep into it, you know, and trying to change it, we're gonna have a lot of public hearings. And at that point, we'll probably lean on you guys to help push some of that information out there.
Gotcha.
Get some input from everybody. Any other questions?
So would this be the point to speak on that issue, or wait till that meeting?
So at that meeting, that'll probably be the better time to do it. That way, all of our planning commissioners there to kind of hear all that information.
Good, thank you.
I mean, we don't have any, do we have something in our rules where, I mean, people can, you know how they do it at council meetings, talk and say whatever they want to say.
They're not elected, so.
Like if he wanted to say something right now,
Like a public comment.
yeah, like if he wanted to, he's here, there's obviously something that you wanted to say.
That's y'all's decision, if y'all wanna allow that. It's up to you guys too, so
I appreciate that, thank you.
Mhm.
But if meetings where some decisions and things are gonna be made, and opinions might be better shared at that point, I'll be glad to share my opinion. If you want to hear it.
The agenda does show public comments, and so that's why we're.
I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're good.
we involve people and have this committee involved, make everyone understand what all's kind of at stake. This is, it's got a lot of moving parts. I mean, this thing started, Metroplan came to Bryant with a major transportation plan, and this bike trail, shared use trail, was all part of that, and they adopted it. And since then, which is what, 7 years later, all these shared use trails have been along major roadways, included in road easements. Well, now we've kind of reached a stalemate where, man, we're on cross-country mission to, you know, property owners' property that never knew this got passed. They don't have a clue what's coming. And there's like 80 property owners that we're gonna be involved in on just the north side of the freeway, that they've got 100 acres, and it splits their property with a shared use trail running through it, and it devalues their property, when, like Doug's saying, this isn't the time. It's all to be thinking about what our opinion is. Where do they go? How do we fund? What is the funding mechanism for these? And let's make smart moves for Bryant. Not just a plan that Metroplan out of Bentonville and Fayetteville kind of sold us. Let's do what works for us. We already have street issues. We probably need to be taking a hard look at a plan to where we can get additional road easements and try to put these things where emergency vehicles can get to them, and our street crews are covered up as far as fixing potholes and working on roads and all the stuff they got to be doing. I at one time thought that we had a crew that these guys did roads and these guys did sewer and these guys did water, and kind of not. It's the old boy that runs the bush hog in July is the same old boy that fixes the water line that's spraying in there. You know? So, I mean, they're running a tight, but when you start running them out in the back 40, trying to keep up more bike trails and getting the fire truck emergency vehicles out in the middle of Keith Thompson's place, you know, out Springdale, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I want us to really be thinking about when we go into these workshop meetings. So, anyway, that's probably...
I appreciate you.
Sure.
Yeah, because I knew a little bit about it, but you shed a little bit more light on it that I wasn't aware of it, and I would love to hear what he had to say if it doesn't tie everybody up.
Well, very similar concerns to what he has. It affects me personally, us personally, I'm sorry, because one of the proposed trail borders my property, and it's a horse pasture with electric fence and valuable horses behind the neighborhood that they want to take a 16-foot swath and clear cut it and run a piece of asphalt. Currently, that piece of asphalt, if that happens, would go nowhere. Literally, there's no access to it unless you get somebody's permission to come through their property or come through my property. It runs into the substation on Lombard. So you've got electrical substation to deal with there. You've got electric fence, my horses, and our property, and then private property on the other end. So it's about 1,700 feet of nothing, with zero access. So we have personal concerns with the safety of people touching our electric fence, people messing with our horses. Suggestion was, well, the developer could just put up a big old fence. Well, you know what the developer thought about that. Sure. Mm-hmm. Well, so play that out though. Let's say that the developer puts up a fence along my property line, and then all these houses that come in along the other side put in wood fences too. So now you've got a 1,700-foot alley, right? That what's going to happen in there? Lots of great stuff, I'm sure, right? So, and to me, to us, to echo what Mr. Bull said, a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If you look at that plan, and look where these things are going and how they're done, it seems to me there could be a more effective and more efficient way to do this. I'm not anti-trail. On the record, I'm not anti-trail, okay? I don't know that I'll use them, but more power to you, rock on. But I see people all the time park at the Parkway Elementary School and get on their bike or get on their running shoes or whatever and use that thing. Excellent place, wonderful. safe, away from the road, wide, good start and stop point, all that wonderful thing. But when you, if you have it, I would encourage you to look at this plan. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And to ask Mr. Bull or Joe Petty or whomever to put in a piece, a 1,700-foot piece, I'm guessing it's 1,700, by the way, piece of trail that goes nowhere, and to pave that today, knowing that it might be 20 years before it's connected to anything, again, it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. And so, personal reasons, city reasons, city maintenance costs, and those kinds of things, to me, it just needs to be revisited. Let's make a little more sense of it.
Do y'all have a cohesive group, or that you're making sure that everybody that would be affected knows? I mean,
I think that's kind of the plan of the workshop. I myself have been going through the property and making up names of people who are affected by it. And still got a lot of work to do, but just so everybody is in the know, because there's a lot of people that, I mean, us included, that don't know that these dotted lines go across their properties.
one of the things that I think, as far as, when we have city council meetings, and one of the things our committee wanted to do is reach out and tell people, if you have an issue, all you have to do is walk in. When they ask for public comment, you get up to the podium and you have your say. It really upsets me that so many people have complaints or real issues, but they won't come before city council. I mean, to me, if you've got a spokesman, you know, you come and state your case.
Definitely will. We're trying to keep up with that, you know, with getting on the email list and the knowing when things are happening and that kind of deal. Sometimes I get emails and sometimes I don't. So I need to check my email better.
Yeah, just need to watch on the city website
Yeah.
when these events are happening, and, you know, come and,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it seems really simple, but I know there are people in the community that are afraid to come and say what it is that's causing them such an issue.
Well, they may feel like it's not going to change anything. Yeah.
Well, that, or we're outside the city. The only reason we even heard about it was we were at a funeral, and someone asked us what we thought about it, and we were like, what are you talking about? You know, because we have 88 acres and, you know, 2 kids that are getting out of college and hoped they would build out there with us and everything else, and this goes right down the middle of it.
60-acre tract on it's probably 1,700 feet long, and basically the creek splits it. And I've got buildable places on both sides that hopefully my kids and my grandkids want to build there, and it's like that, it destroys the property. So it just, like I said, not anti-trails and all that, but it's just like.
But we wouldn't have known, that's, you know, if someone had to ask, and I haven't even had a chance to, I've printed off a few things and I've looked, but I didn't.
On the city website, there's a schedule of all the meetings.
Yeah, it's all on our community development page.
And it'll even have the agenda, if it's already been set. But
That's
you
what someone
just keep up with
forwarded to me
that,
tonight.
yeah.
I'll start looking now,
Keep up
but
with
like,
that.
it's one of those things, you don't know what you don't know, you know, and, you
Not
know.
on our radar.
Well, I've always felt like if I were the mayor on city council and all of a sudden 100 people walk in the room on a meeting night, even if you don't live in the city, I think that they would really take note that this is serious business.
Like I said, I've lived out here forever, and that property's been in my family forever, and when it wasn't in my family, we rode horses as little kids, and so there's a lot of attachment too, and I know the city's growing and doing things, and I think the serve deal's a wonderful idea, but it just kind of floored me, and my kids are like, oh my gosh, you know, I mean,
Scary,
so,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of scary.
Those of you that are in the city, you have a right to voice.
Like Tracy is in the 1 mile planning jurisdiction. So there's stuff being planned on their property all the time they really don't know about, and they don't check on the meetings. You just Like
I
she
will
said, you don't
now.
always know.
So Mayor, am I right about that? People have a right to come and voice?
Oh, yeah, of course, I think,
They can come to this.
yeah,
Do y'all notify?
well, I think one of the things that we all have to remember is we create, like, we just approved a Parks Master Plan, which is really nice, but there's no funding for it. There's no plan for real, true execution. And I think, in my opinion, that's some of what happened with this plan. It was a plan, it's out there, but there hasn't been a lot of discussion on, actually, what are we gonna actually do? And I appreciate Paul start the conversation. My former life as Parks Director, I would have loved a better, plan for funding of trails that actually makes sense. Like, it's a great conversation to have if a developer comes in and is looking at a piece of property developed, and there's these requirements for trails that make no sense. If there was an option to be able to put that money towards, repairing Mills Park Trail that people use, I would have loved that kind of fund that the Parks Committee and the City Council could use to actually do things that make a lot of sense. So I think it's a wonderful conversation for the execution of a plan that we can all get on board with. At this point, it's just lines on maps that,
It makes you
we
sweat.
did, it is, that we
You're
haven't really embraced or talked about what we're gonna actually do. And, in this case with Paul, he's been able to raise this, this blind spot that none of us have really been looking at. So now I think we'll be able to really look at it, have some great conversations over it, and come up with a plan that makes sense for the builders who want to help develop our city in the right way, and also residents in our city and our planning district that have a right to know what's going on and protect their property. I think we're honestly in a really great spot because we're talking about it. And we're gonna have a plan. Out of this will come a really healthy plan moving forward for everybody.
That was the plan.
The
Initially.
initial one, it was walk, bike, drive. I think it was funding through Metro Plan. I know Garver was the one that actually put it together, though. But, yeah, this is the workshop that we have on the 3rd. I feel is just gonna be the first of many that we're gonna have. I assume we're gonna have quite a few different meetings on that, to try to work out, all the details of this. But I think it's really just to get everybody's thoughts out there and concerns and comments so that we can kind of have something that we can look at and kind of dig into and moving forward, kind of get a good direction of where we need to go. What we need to
One
do.
other thing on Renee's point that I would prefer, if you've got things like this that are hot button issues, please bring them forward so we can do workshops. The workshops are for discussion and hashing through. I really would like us to have council meetings for action, right? Have council meetings for action. My plan is not to have a council meeting action if there's this hot topic that nobody can agree on, right? Like, let's just keep hashing this thing out till we figure out where we're going. So hopefully, we don't have a situation where people are showing up shocked that there's some big decision that council's gonna make
Yeah.
affecting them. That we need people telling us,
So
hey,
how
this
do
is an
they-
issue, we need to discuss it, and then we can set these public workshops, which that's the function for these. No action can be taken. When you set up a workshop, it's for public comments and discussion with no action. Council can't take an action, to protect those kind of decisions from coming out of nowhere.
So how do people request these workshops?
Oh, talk to a council member, email me. Like Paul started this through the DRC committee, that meets a couple times a month. Any of our public meetings, you could come to a city council meeting and say, hey, I've got this issue, I'd love to discuss. I would love for you to host a workshop to deal with this and get the word out and let people know any of those avenues. Because it really is, at the end of the day, all about communication, just like you guys not knowing that this was out there. Again, this plan was years ago, kind of fell by the wayside. It was, and this happens with different administrations, have different emphasis, right? And that was a big emphasis. I'm not saying that's negative or positive, but just like anything, there are consequences to those things you didn't foresee. And now we see it, so we need to really address it and come up with a plan. I have complete confidence this is going to be, we're coming up with a really good solution for everybody.
And something I would like to say about the communicating with the people, y'all have a great system set up. I just don't think everybody knows about it. Colton and them in the community development, their website, their community development page, it has these plans. It has these maps, it has your ward maps, it has your zoning map, it has the, like I said, the master transportation plan, the bike plan, it has all that, the information is there, people just don't know it. And you can set up, like the group just set up, to receive email notices of this meeting, an email notice, that's how we heard about it. If people sign up for that, then they hear about what's going on, and they can come, and they can make comments, or they can reach out and ask about it. Like, I reached out to Colton, and he emailed me right back. And so you have a good department. It's just getting that information out there. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's all good.
I do want to ask one thing. As Colton mentioned a minute ago, that the workshop was, let's invite developers to speak, let's invite councilmen to speak. Why not invite some public, homeowners, property owners? You guys have a major investment in the planning district of Bryant. So their voices need to be heard too, just as well. And one more thing I agree, the website's great, and I love all that. I wonder if it would help people when we send out the email that says an agenda meeting, like we got an email that you guys are having a meeting. If you actually, I see you're talking about volunteers for 3 hours, we understand. People like the least resistance. If you put the link where you just click on that and that agenda pops right up, I think people would become even more aware of, oh, they're going to talk about that. Oh, they're going to discuss that. And that just not be, I know it's one more step for technical people to do, but it is one step less that people just go ahead and click on and they'll know what's happening.
One of the things that, the community that I'm in, talk about putting on the water bill, comments, have something in there, and that way
they gonna look at it.
do we get an email for what the bill is and mail out?
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody do that?
I get to do both.
Put that on there?
Yeah. Get both.
And maybe have we'll probably take the whole page, to put all of the, links. But, people really do need to know what that is. And then we have a lot of community members that have no access to computers, and I've always wondered about that, But if it's in the water bill, I guess that would take care of that. But still, they need to have a phone number. Who can I call?
I think in that we're just starting. I think we need to take time to make a plan on how we are going to help, like whenever they come to us with issues like this. We're gonna be like, if y'all weren't here, we're gonna be like, what do we do? And so I think we need to work on coming up with a plan of, we're gonna send them here, we're gonna send them there. This is the board, member type of deal, this is the mayor type of deal. Where do we send them? Who do we call, or who do we send them to call?
We need to get a go-to list.
Like you said, they need to know about, this hot topic, so who do we call? Who's the person? So I think we need to come up with the plan of how we're gonna handle all of this and, you know, like the event, how to, you know, we're gonna take care of that or, you know.
Sounds good.
I think that's something, I don't know if we can work on an email or a next meeting.
We can put that on the agenda for our next meeting. Yep.
And that way we can figure out how we can best serve, how we can best engage to help you guys out. And I think the biggest thing going forward is, if we got this host of information everywhere, do the people know where the information is at? Because I can say I had information out here, but where's the information? I got a website. Where's the website? Show me the website. Give me a link to the website so I can go there, so I can view the information. First time I ever heard of it, but I'm engaged now. Where is it at? So I can go read about it, so I can know about it. So if someone asks me about it, I can be knowledgeable about it. I can talk to them about it and make sure they get a gist. Oh, by the way, they don't like what I'm saying. Don't trust what I'm saying. Here, go read about it. So I think that'll be a good thing, because we got to get the information out there for people to see. And I think how we can best benefit and help you guys, it being this community engagement committee, is like Justina was saying, is how can we help you guys? What do you need for us to do? And then if we get those pertinent point of contacts and say we get information, somebody come to me, hey, okay, Mayor Treat, I don't want to just send him an email. I can send it to somebody else, let it streamline so that, you know, whatever the case may be. So that's how we streamline it. That's how we best help you guys. Give us a chance to brainstorm, go through it, and then go, you know, the survey, whatever it is, whatever the project it is, and then kind of let us brainstorm, come back together, put our minds together, meet those deadlines, and go from there. I think that's a walkthrough for us, and then we can better help serve you guys in whatever way we can. Because at the end of the day, we all want Bryant to be good, right? And that's the best way we can do it, because if I had a property and I didn't know something about this stuff was going on, I'd be a little upset too. I have to be honest with you, because it's my property, right? I'd be a little upset, but going forward, I think that'll be the best plan for us. And then as we start moving, get full head of steam, if y'all agree, I think we can move better and better help the city to be as good and efficient as it possibly can. Y'all agree?
I think we have homework, and I know they know
Very
the
much.
page and all that, but I think
I gotta go read
we
now.
take time to check out the website more in detail, find more, where we can find the information ourselves, and that way we can lead, anybody that comes to us to like, go here, go there, this is the person you need to talk to.
Right. So that'll be good information, feedback for you guys to get for us. Now, I know I go on the website, I see some of these guys' faces, I know words and stuff like that, so, but that'll be good for us. And then we got that down, and then it'll be easier. So, okay, hey, now this is where you need to go, this is who you need to talk to, and we kind of streamline it like that. We can still help do other things as well, so.
If we can, our committee directory kind of thing.
Right, like who
Our
are
own
our
thing.
councilman, who is the park for that, or whatever it may be. Yeah, y'all have to excuse us, because we really, we started to get going, and we had, elections, we were trying to get a sales tax.
We're glad you guys are here.
We were working hard, but we didn't really get anywhere yet.
So we just ended our live stream on accident. The only other thing we had on the agenda was, per your bylaws, you guys need to vote in a committee chair. Do you guys want to do that now, or do you want to wait until the next
They
meeting?
wait till the next
Well,
meeting.
wait till the next one we have a Zoom. I think that needs to be on the record.
That works.
Exactly. You read my mind over there.
Transparency.
There you go.
Big money check.
Starting to vote, they killed the thing.
Can we have a motion to adjourn, anyone?
I'll make the move.
Adjourn.
Second, anyone? Perfect.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good start for us.
I don't know what happened.